meat day snack? An ostrich egg, raw, just drink it throughout the day?
Only for meat day, huh?
Oh man, like, could you imagine how you would just like get in other people's heads if in between like your first and second deadlift attempt you just like crack one open right there and like
Or like you stick a hole in the top and you just put a straw in and you're just like,
Like it's a coconut?
hey, pull out a dang pair of like little channel locks and pop a hole in and do it like a Miller top.
I think you would if you just had normal eggs.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go all the way to an ostrich egg. You just
like-
take if you're just pounding raw eggs out of the shell.
No, you do.
Not even no, hey, that shell's got nutrients in it. You just pound the whole thing.
Do it like Big Lenny. He just in the gym. He had the box of them, just take them and pop them like candy.
Like Cool Hand Luke. Oh, man.
all right, well, I think we're rolling already. But
Yeah, we're rolling. We're good.
Yeah.
It's,
hello, everyone. This is Friday Night at the Barbell with your host, myself, Carson Wendell, Josh Sellers. Josh, I always mess up your name. It's kind of hard to say it once. And Bryant Wood. We got a really awesome guest here today. I'm going to let Bryant introduce. Go ahead, Bryant.
Carson picks his nose. Today we've got Alabama Matt, a elite level power lifter out of Alabama, one of the local strong boys, family man, great all-around guy, elite FTS sponsored athlete, just incredible guest. We're gonna get some good stuff out of him today. How's it going, Matt?
Man, it's going good. I appreciate y'all having me on, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I
see.
don't know about a lead FTS sponsor, but we're working on it.
Pretty close. Closer than anybody I know.
Yeah.
And just want to get it out of the way. You know, my astro sign is Sagittarius, and you know we're good.
Long walks on the beach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just looking for a man that can handle me as a woman and take care of me.
Imagine that's the only time you're walking. Is,
Exactly.
man, on a long night at the beach.
Exactly. That's all the cardio I get in, and I mean, he better be worth it.
So we normally start things off with a controversial question, but since you're Alabama Matt, I had to change it up.
Okay.
I want you to tell me what some of these Southern sayings mean.
Okay.
So if someone says we're living in high cotton, what do they mean?
Oh shoot, they talking about that they living rich, they living the high life. They you know, like everybody else is looking at them like, man, I wish I was in cotton that deep. I mean, it's just that's the equivalent of keeping up with the Joneses.
That's so good.
I like it.
If someone said, "Hey, we're all going to dinner tonight," and then, or if you said, "We're all going to dinner tonight," and someone said, "I'll be there if the creek don't rise," what are they saying?
Pretty much, they say hell or high water, I'm going to be there. As long as something unforeseen doesn't happen, I'm going to make it to the family event.
Nice.
So good. And then,
Hey, look, I can
last one.
translate this stuff, man.
Oh, I know. I had a feeling.
No hesitation.
If someone said she was madder than a wet hen, what do they mean?
Ooh, that means they're talking about my wife. Because if she's madder than a wet hen, that's like mandatory. You're sleeping on the couch and not the good leather one that you keep in the house. You know, like it's bad.
Like a garage couch.
Yeah, like
Casting
if
couch.
exactly, like you don't even get a Clorox wipe to wipe it down. You know, like it's gonna be a rough night.
Oh man, that's so good. Well, I think
Alrighty.
besides all the comedy, how did you get your start in lifting? You're from Alabama, so how did in high school, middle school sports?
Man, the way I really got started, my dad was big into weightlifting. Matter of fact, he's benched and just, he didn't even have wrist wraps. He would put athletic tape on his wrist, but he benched 605 raw. And
Wow.
like, I remember being, like middle school age, and it'd be me and two of his friends spotting him with like 565 and him coming down and doing like negatives with it, like doing like sets of fives and negatives with it, like it wasn't nothing. And so ever since I was big enough to walk, he's had me in there doing something, and when I got up, started playing football in middle school, that's when I really took interest in it because I was I was like 11 years old and 160 pounds. Like, I was not like, my parents didn't have to worry about, oh, don't go towards the white van because they couldn't literally drag me into it. And so once I hit like middle school football, I was like, okay, I need to quit being fat, Matt, and I'm going to really start working out, running and stuff. And that's probably where it started. And then that just continued on into high school. And I actually got out of school and started doing MMA. I'd done MMA for 2 or 3 years. And then after I got through, I just got tired of like paying people good money to punch me in the suck hole. And so I quit doing MMA probably about, I think I was 19 when I stopped that. And then I really got into more strength training. And that's actually when Charlie opened up Strong over by Taco Casa on the hill.
Yeah.
And I started there and I lifted there for like a year. And I bounced back and forth between a couple of gyms because the way my job was, I was having to find places to have training partners. And I don't know, I come back to Strong when they was over by the Kangaroo Express up on the hill. And they was doing some strongman stuff in there in the Highland Games. And I don't know, I started doing some of it with them and then just fell in love with strongman. And then that's when I met you down at Alabama Strongest Man 2018.
That was a hell of a competition. Matt comes up and says, yeah, I've not really touched any of this stuff before. I'm just here to go for it. And he was in the open heavyweight class, which Alabama Strongest Man, run by Chris Slater, is notorious for being heavy as shit. Every single year, it gets heavier, the weights. And Matt goes out and wins the first one he ever tries without even knowing what a farmer's handle carry was. Like, it was weird. It was so weird to see.
Hey, look,
Matt,
go ahead.
You're like 6'3", right?
I'm about
6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, 6'2", roughly.
With a size 17 shoe. And
You gotta have you gotta have a good platform.
Yeah,
for all
good
that
base
muscle.
and it's probably a 5E as well, I imagine.
Yeah, that's 6E.
It's more made for a tire than anything else.
Hey, well, that's my granddaddy always said you had to have more foundation for an office building than you do an outhouse.
Well, I know a lot of people that are built more like an outhouse.
House,
So.
yeah.
But
That's impressive though, man. Going out and winning your first one ever, and it being that show, which is always crazy. And then that qualified you for nationals, but you didn't go, did you?
No, actually, I don't know if you remember or not. On the car deadlift, I actually on my left trap, I pulled the muscle fibers away from my occiput at the base of my skull. It didn't tear nothing. It just like hyper extended everything.
Yeah.
And at nationals, it was going to be a 740 deadlift for reps and a 8 something farmer's carry. And I couldn't even get my arm up to like 90 degrees. I was like, there's no way. But
Probably a smart choice.
yeah, like I couldn't. like I think the day they had nationals or whatever, my wife had a video of me taking a 10-pound dumbbell doing front raises. So yeah, definitely not.
So how many strongman competitions have you done?
Just that one. That's the only one that
Okay.
I've actually I done 2018, and then 2019 we had just had my second daughter, and I didn't have time to prep and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm not going to go down there and re-tear something.
Right.
And then
But you've
2020,
done
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, buddy.
no. I was just gonna say, but you've done other competitions, like you've done powerlifting meets since then.
Yes, sir. I've done one
Right.
powerlifting
Yeah.
meet, and that was this past
Yeah.
January.
Yeah.
Um,
Cool.
but in 2020, I actually was going to compete in strongman again, but that's when COVID hit
Right.
and all that crap y'all know went on, and so and I thought about doing 21. I never heard nothing out of it, and then like a month before, I seen a post. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, we're having this, and I was like, okay, well, I had zero time for that.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a timing thing then. And
hmm
one strongman competition, one powerlifting competition. Did you win best lifter at that powerlifting competition?
No, I was off by I think my dots was 496 and his was 498.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
It's fine.
he
You probably outlifted him anyways. It don't matter. Dots don't matter.
Your
Dots
total
don't
was
matter.
probably 700
Dots
more
don't matter.
pounds than his.
he was a strong guy. He was in the I think he was a 198 class, and I mean for his size, I mean he was definitely strong. I mean I think he pulled in the sixes, so I mean he was a strong guy. But yeah, I told him I said I ought to just thump you in the head, but for that 2 extra points.
Yeah, I like the asterisk for his size.
Yeah.
Yeah, for its size.
No,
Like you
man,
didn't
it's
mean
all
it, but it's like true for his size.
yeah. Hey, it's all good. I had a fantastic time, and actually, I would have never done powerlifting if it wouldn't have been for Sam Brown because he just kept, hey, you need to do this, you need to go, you need to go, and then I was just like, okay, well, let's try it, and now like I'm hooked.
Yeah.
It's addicting.
What makes you feel hooked about powerlifting in general? Like what gives you that I want to do it again feeling?
Man, it's honestly, I just enjoy lifting. I mean, that's a big part of my life. That's always been a big part of my life. And um, honestly, probably the next biggest thing is the camaraderie. Because I mean, like we were talking earlier, it's just like it's like high school. It's like a bunch of best friends in there. But the best thing is you're jacked up on 1,000 milligrams of caffeine and slapping each other. So I mean, like
Yeah.
it's just fun. And
Yeah.
it don't matter if there's a guy out there that's squatting 200 pounds or a guy over there squatting 1,000 pounds. Everybody's behind him, everybody's cheering, and it's just, man, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny
And
how every
plus, you
single
get to,
person go for it.
I was just saying, and plus, you get to throw around heavy crap all the time, so that's fun.
Yeah, it's fun to be big. It's fun to throw around heavy weights, and everyone we've asked has said like the community is the best part of it, and it really is.
And Strongman was like that too. I mean, Strongman is awesome. Like, honestly, I would still be in Strongman if I didn't like if I wasn't at this place in my life that I'm at now with I've got 3 kids, 6, 4, and 12 weeks old, and like I'm trying to be at home more.
Yeah,
And with strongman, it's like okay, you have a overhead press, you have a deadlift, you have a some kind of squat, but there's 15 variations for each one of those, and trying to get all that work in and prep for everything, it's like, man, you end up taking 3 or 4 hours a workout session. Whereas in powerlifting, it's like, okay, I have basically 9 singles I need to work on. And I can usually get a workout done an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20. And so, I mean, it's just, I can still do what I love doing, but it doesn't take away from my time with my family. And to me, it's just a better mesh than now. Don't get me wrong. If I was a guy that didn't, if I wasn't a family man, strong man all the way, because that's freaking. I mean, where else can you throw kegs and like tote stuff? I mean, that's just. I mean, like that's just
Yeah.
Viking crap. But
Yeah.
um, I think powerlifting is just a better fit for me and my lifestyle, and plus I really enjoy it.
That's good. I,
Yeah.
yeah,
I've kind of. You go ahead, Brian.
I was just gonna say, strongman is the community and the events are just so much more fun than powerlifting. It's always
Yes.
fun to throw something heavy around, but man, when you get out there and it's a strongman competition where you're kind of side by side with someone doing something, and you're going against each other head to head, and it's not always as simple as a deadlift. It's
Oh
just a
man,
lot more fun.
well that's like man, like when y'all were down there, because I mean I was competing against the guys that you were there with,
Yeah,
and y'all were giving me just as much help as y'all were each other, and like I'll never forget before I went and done stones. And I'm like, dude, I ain't got a freaking clue. And y'all were like, come over here. We got some duct tape. Come here. and
tape the arms, tacky the
heck
tape.
yeah,
Yep.
heck yeah. And I mean, even though y'all were trying to beat me, y'all were helping me, and I was trying to do the same for everybody else. And it's just, but you're right. Like getting next to somebody, and it's like, hey, or you're immediately following a guy, and you're like, man, I'm going to step it up because this guy just busted out 10 reps.
Yep.
And it's a totally different adrenaline rush.
Yes, it is.
Because that's like in powerlifting, you can like, say you go before somebody or you go after somebody, you can sit there and be like, oh, he did that. Okay, well, let me put a 5 key instead of the 2.5 that he just did. Like small little increments, like you can judge it. But when you're competing against somebody, like at the same time, yeah, I guess you like feed off of each other. Like the adrenaline's just going more.
Oh, big
And
time, man. Big time.
yeah, in strongman too, you might not be competing with the same weight class beside you. So like, you might be in heavyweight, and then the lightweights are going beside you at the same exact time. So even if you're not like seeing a competitor, you still see somebody else that might be going faster, and it's going to help motivate you to go faster. You know?
Oh yeah, because man, when I got to that freaking car deadlift, I was like, okay, this guy before me, there was a couple guys before me done like 8, and I was like, okay, so I need to do 8 plus to stay where I'm at. And they had the women going right next to me, and they had that smaller car or whatever,
Yeah.
and that freaking woman was like a jackrabbit. I mean, it was just like, and like she was just hammering, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like trying to get my breath and like going up and down, oh man, it was awful.
And
And
they're like banging out 40 reps beside you.
heck yeah. And I think like on the keg press, they had the 3 different size kegs for the open. And it was like the lightweight guys, I can't even remember what their keg weight was. They're doing like 18 reps. And I think I won the event with 3 in the heaviest one. And I'm just like, just trying to get it to my chest. And they're over there like, what's the problem, man? And I'm like, you shut up with your thimble before daddy has to put his hands on you.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you, before your first strongman event, did you do a lot of prep for that? Because in my mind, thinking like just coming from, as far as a competitive standpoint, powerlifting background, I would just think that, the longer events that take, sometimes minutes that you're going, how do you like kind of work the cardio in there, or like in your prep? Do you do a lot of cardio stuff, or do you just do like a lot of repetitions, or how does that work?
Well, fortunately, the way it was structured for that one, you had a keg press for reps. You had the, I don't forget what it's called, but where you hold implement out in front of you and you can't draw. It's shoulder hold or whatever.
That's the Thor's hammer hold or whatever it is.
That's right. That's right. And then we had the farmer's carry, the deadlift for reps, and then the stones. So the way I prep for it, which I had, I think I've set up like roughly a 12-week prep. And so on all of my, like the keg work, I was fortunate enough to find a keg, and I think it was a 250-pound keg, and I loaded mine to like 200, and I would get warmed up, do overhead press and stuff like that, and then I would just, after that, take the keg, and I would time myself, so I would do as many reps as I could till I stopped, and then I would take a break for like 5 minutes or so, and then I would do as many reps as I could do again, and I would do like 3 sets of that. And then for the hold, I had an old barbell that was warped, and I took a grinder with a cutting wheel, and I cut it off and loaded plates onto the collar and used it to hold to practice the Thor's hammer.
Nice.
And all I did for the deadlift, because it was going to be a car deadlift, a frame style, I took a trap bar and I loaded it, which it was just like your standard trap bar, and they didn't give no kind of weight. So I just loaded it up. I think the most it would hold was, I want to say like 675 or something like that. And I would just do as many reps as I could with it. And then I would also use that for the farmer's carry. And I would just go outside and walk as far as I could, holding it, drop it, and then whatever it took me to get back. And that's basically all the cardio I done was just in my rep scheme.
I gotcha.
But it was rough.
It is rough. I would say strongman is definitely more rough.
Oh God, yeah, man. Like the next morning, which don't get me wrong, because I messed that up. That made it worse. But I honestly felt like I had been in like the first football game of the season. Honestly, is what I could not move. My wife's like, "Hey, let's go out to the beach," and I'm like, "Yeah, no." I'm like, "Bring me an IV bag of ibuprofen and some kind of seafood, and just leave me alone."
Yeah,
and
that's like.
Go ahead.
I feel like if I were to do something like that, I would be so tore up. Like, so every once in a while, I'll go play basketball with some buddies, and it's like every time I get done, just my ankles, feet, knees, it's like there's so much inflammation, and I'm just toast for like a week. I'm just spent, and I can't imagine carrying 600-700 pounds and how my legs would feel after that. So,
dude, just thinking about playing a basketball game, my knees swelled up just then. Like, like that just sounds awful. Hey, in all seriousness though, because I'm really smart. Before I done it wasn't a competition, but we was having like a squat, bench, deadlift day at the gym I was going to. One of my buddies, and I decided the day before, hey, it would be a good idea to go play in a softball tournament. And like what you're talking about, I actually, because if you hit it out, that was an out. So I couldn't hit a home run, so I just had to hit base hits, but I had to like run 2 of them out. I got 2 doubles. I could not walk for 2 weeks. Like, I looked like I had just interviewed for like I just got out of prison or something. I was bow-legged walking. Dude, it was awful. And even now, like if I do a whole lot of walking, like my wife, that's what she likes to do. She likes to do like HIIT training, and then she'll go for like a couple mile walk. If I go with her, she normally has to tote me back, and because like I'll get like a half mile in, and my ankles will feel like you've got ball bearings under like a cement block. It's just grinding, and it's awful.
And that's
Yeah,
why
I remember.
you go for it.
Oh well, a few years ago, I used to work in the emergency department, and we used to get a softball team every year. And the first game of the year, I think I was doing like a bodybuilding prep actually, and so I was like, okay, I cannot get hurt. I'm just like, I just gotta jog, take it easy. But you get in that competitive mindset, and you're like, and I can't remember the last time I was just in a full out sprint. And the first hit of the game, I hit a grounder to third, and I just took off to first. And like the third step, just like right quad gone, and then I'm like hobbling over there, and then my like left hamstring. So I'm like over there laying on the ground. So yeah, it's
You look
don't
like
think
that.
about all those other muscles.
Oh God, what was that Family Guy where Peter's trying to play baseball and his brain goes, what is he doing? He's like, I think he's trying to run, and then he just falls over.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, I had a dream about running one time, and it was awful.
And that's why Elite FTS has you make their videos for
Alabama
super
Matt.
heavyweight lifters.
Super heavyweight. It's Alabama Matt.
Hey, plus size.
Powerlifting pro tip.
Hey, plus size porn star too.
Says.
So speaking of,
I call them fat leads personally.
I'm a big fan of the. So if any of y'all are interested,
No, go on.
if any of you guys are interested, you can go on Elite FTS's Instagram, and Matt has several segments of plus size powerlifting pro tips. I'm a big fan. I really like the safety toe strap, the swing around and sit down.
Hey, look,
I implemented that one.
you can
I've
never
shown
be.
people that.
You can never be too careful. I mean, the powerlifting background, like in a gym, is a hostile environment, and you need to make sure that you always have adequate seating. And you have to make sure that seating is rated for you, because that is not the first chair that I initially used. Because those little, like everybody's grandmother had them at Easter, those plastic gray chairs that stack up. Well, I monster jammed the piss out of one of them. Like I went to sit down to put my shoes on, and I'm talking about like it looked like a movie. All four legs shot out.
Imploded.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the weight limit was like 250, and I just smoked it. Like it wasn't even funny.
So what does one eat to get to your stature?
Well, I'm real big on salads. Between the salads and I tell you what really amped mine up was when I implemented a shake weight. And look, you got to get rid of that little white one. You got to get the big black one, okay? That's really where you get the tricep involvement,
Oh man!
But no, seriously, I don't eat vegetables or nothing like that. I know everybody and their mom's gonna be like, hey, you think I'm joking, but everybody and their moms are like, oh,
Yeah.
you need to eat your vegetables to grow up big and strong. Well, that's a lie. And if you
Exhibit A.
yeah, Josh, right over there. He's right down there. And but no, seriously, I was doing like the carnivore diet before it was even a thing, because I eat carbs and protein. The only thing out of a garden that I eat is potatoes. And I think when I was doing strongman, I was eating anywhere between, like on my rest days, I was eating about 5,000 calories. On my event days, I was eating anywhere from 6,500 to 8,000, depending. Now, I mean, that was as clean as
Sir.
like I was eating. I'm not gonna say clean, but like I would cook 2 pounds of like chicken breast, and I would eat like all 2 pounds of it and carbs and all that other stuff. But I mean, I would have, excuse me, like a lot of bread. Like I would make sandwiches, like 4 or 5 sandwiches for one meal or something like that. And
Nice.
so it was fairly clean, but I mean, it was not like bodybuilding clean.
Yeah.
But
Any nighttime like cheesecake, cookies, Oreos, any of that good stuff?
dude, I can take in a freaking milkshake by osmosis. Like I don't even have to drink it, and it will like just my thighs will just magically grow. And
What's
but
in the
no,
milkshake?
don't worry about it. No, honestly, no, I didn't. I've never been one that has to like take in extra to gain weight. I've always been able to put it and not say like, because if I want to take weight off, I can take weight off, but I don't want to. Um, I don't have a, like everybody's like, oh yeah, you see comments on stuff like big fat powerlifter can't do anything, blah, blah, blah. It's like, man, I want to be this size. If I quit working out so hard and quit eating so much, I mean, don't get me wrong, I would still be a heavier guy, but I wouldn't be 360 pounds heavy.
Yeah. Man.
I think I'll bulk to 360. See what happens.
Hey,
Turbo Bolt from Carson.
I when I went to weigh in for that powerlifting meet, what's that guy's name? John Micah. I don't know if you know him or not, but
Yeah.
he said, "What weight class are you doing?" I said, 198, and he looked up. He said, "Maybe in kilograms." And I stepped on the scale, and it was like with my stuff on, I was like 358. He goes, "That's what I thought."
Full.
Hey,
Full.
I'm thick with 2 C's. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know a couple of them.
I'm looking at 3 of them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Look, I told y'all I was an idiot. Okay.
No, it's okay. You're a powerlifter. It's your excuse. It's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it comes with the territory.
Exactly.
You're either an idiot for doing it, or you were an idiot before. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, you have to be somewhat emotionally unstable and have like daddy issues.
Slight autism at that too. Like you said.
Hey,
Slight
yeah.
autism.
Look,
Just a touch.
just because the red crayons are my favorite tasting, don't mean you have to bring this into that.
Oh, no.
So let's see. For the next powerlifting meet, I'm gonna have red crayons, ostrich eggs, and what else? Chicken shakes.
trim.
I don't know. It may be frowned upon, but I would
Chicken
shakes. Recommend cocaine.
You can only take that to nationals.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, international waters
Yeah.
can't prosecute.
WRPF non-tested nationals.
Yeah.
This is just
Boofed.
now lifting Bryant Wood.
I have heard some stories.
That ain't ammonia, buddy.
at nationals at USPA nationals in Vegas. I've heard some stories.
Man, sounds like Christmas at my house.
Not grandma again. Going to the bathroom again.
Woo! I tell you what, old Granny,
Why she taking her keys in the bathroom?
hey, she can rip a fat rail, you know. My grandmother keeps borrowing my driver's license because they took hers away.
Oh, man.
I think this is the funniest one we've did yet.
This is very funny.
This is the best.
Yeah, my cheeks
This
hurt.
is the
Hey,
best.
look, nobody's going to learn a thing about weightlifting, but they're going to learn how, like, there's maybe 16 brain cells here.
That's generous.
Well, I was talking about y'all three. I ain't mine cut out a long time ago.
I meant between the four of us.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I got a goose egg in that department.
Well, we've had on like what, 3 engineers, exercise science people, like people that actually go to school and are smart. But
And
that's
now
why we
it's
have them on.
an inbred. Yes,
Alabama Matt.
exactly. Just
Alabama
because I
Matt,
have
baby.
a sister cousin wife doesn't mean anything.
You know, it happens to the best of us, really. You don't really know until you're in, so I mean, you're stuck then. So
But
So, Matt, what's your training split looking like these days?
man, actually, me and Sam Brown, he's the one that's doing a lot of my programming for me. And man, it's actually me and him have like a great relationship because he can bring, like, beforehand when I was doing my own programming, I knew what worked best for me. I knew how my body responded to certain stimuluses, but I didn't know like how to integrate all of this stuff in. And so he's bringing in like the technical background, but he's giving me free reign on a lot of the weights and stuff. So he'll be like, "Hey, I want you to do some kind of press movement, but it needs to be like we want to mainly work your pecs. We don't want a lot of as much tricep work. We're going to hit them later in the week. So I want you to pick something that's going to be like a heavy set of 3 or a heavy set of 5, and then I'll go in and kind of figure out exactly what that's feeling like, because like I said, I've got to where, and I recommend this for everybody, because you need to learn to auto regulate some yourself, because you know your body better than anybody, and you know what it responds to. Like me, a lot of people love floor press. Floor press does absolutely nothing for me except make my elbows hurt. And so I do a lot more incline, and I do a lot more chest press machine. And then a lot of people, another example, a lot of people have success doing like stop and go deadlifts or touch and go deadlifts for multiple reps in fewer sets. But, excuse me, what works best for me is doing like 8 sets of 8 singles, and just getting tight and exploding through that 1 rep, and then shutting it down, cooling off, and then resetting. I found that is what's kept my deadlift a lot more crisp. Like, I think the most reps I do on any primary compound movement is like 3, and that's on bench press. Squats is always sets of 2, and deadlifts always sets of 1, and that's just what works best for me. Because my recovery is really good, but I don't want to push my body through all of having to maintain the stamina of going through multiple reps in one session. And
Especially when you're squatting 800 pounds and
yeah,
deadlifting 800 pounds.
yeah. Well,
So,
in the beginning, we was doing like sometimes I'd work up to like 700 and do like 5 sets of 3, and man, I was just like, oh my god, this is awful. Like, the first set, it would just be like boom, 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 and then after that, it would just be, not that it felt any heavier or that I didn't have the horsepower to do it. It was just like my nervous system and stuff is just like in shock and doesn't want to handle the weight. But then I could do 9 singles and be completely fine. And that's just something that works good for me. And that's the good thing about the way me and him do it. So like right now, I'm doing because I had tendonitis in this rotator cuff. I talked to you about that, Brian. And
yeah.
so we've been doing SSB squats. That way I don't have to be out wide and put more pressure on the shoulder with a straight bar. So I've been doing SSBs, and then I've been doing a lot. My biggest thing here in the last 6 months has been hamstring work because that was my weak point. Um, and he's really, beforehand I was working hamstrings like 1 day a week hard, and then like pretty much like fluff and buff on another day. But now I've got like 2 medium days and then an extra day of like just lightweight, pretty much stretching, getting blood flow in it, and my hamstrings have really picked up. And because, like a matter of fact, when I done that 965 Hatfield squat, my legs were like, hey, let's put 1,015 on there. My legs felt phenomenal. I was like, this is stupid how good my legs feel. And but obviously the deciding factor on that was the posterior chain. And because I had never been over 805, I think, on a squat before. So naturally, let's just blow past that with 165 more pounds. But that's why I've really enjoyed these, and we're still putting in the Hatfield squats because it allows me to handle that heavier weight to get the stimulus for my nervous system, but it's not tearing up my core so bad because I have the bar to stabilize on. But I was trying to think of what else we're doing. I'm just now getting into it, easing back into it after the shoulder issue. And, but so far, Mondays will be my leg day with the SSB. Tuesdays is my press day. And I'm just doing the chest press machine because it does not aggravate my shoulder. Thursdays is my back and deadlift day. And right now, because my weaker point is at the top, we're doing a lot like me and Steven was doing in Strong the other day, the elevated wagon wheels. I'm doing a lot of heavy elevated wagon wheels to get that starting position better. And then on Fridays, usually just kind of like a accessory day, just hitting all the minor stuff and using it as an extra hamstring and tricep day.
That's a great breakdown. Using Sam, he was with Elite FTS, right?
Yeah, he's not the performance director there anymore, but he still works with Elite on a lot of stuff. He actually has his own. He does college coaching, strength coaching, and then he has his own gym and stuff now.
Yeah, that's right. I follow him as well because he's one of the few geared athletes out there. Like he still works in the multiply gear a good bit. It's pretty interesting to see.
Hey, and I was going to tell y'all, I don't know if y'all know it or not, but the Discord group that Elite has is phenomenal because they have I think they have like over 500 members on there now, and it's raw, it's geared, it's single. Like they have, so if you go on there, they have a breakdown of like everybody that's doing, like they'll have an equipment category so you can talk about what gear you're using, or like people give recommend. And I mean, there's like Tom Shepard's on there, Naomi, and then like Seth Albersworth and Mina. There's some pros on there too, doctors and all different kinds of stuff. So like if you were wanting to look at something about some powerlifting gear, like wondering about like, hey, how does this F8 band shirt work? You know, there's people on there that's using them. They give you videos, feedback. I mean, it's awesome. And y'all should check it out because like you was talking about, there's not as many multiply guys anymore, but there's a lot of them on there, and I don't understand half the crap they're talking about, but
I'll have to check it out just because
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Brian. That sounds like
Well, I mean, I like messing around in it, but I don't have anyone to reach out to and be like, "Hey, how does this look? What should I change?" And that would be a pretty good resource if you have a whole community of people that do that already. So,
Oh yeah, dude, it's awesome. Matter of fact, like if you go on here and you go on the Discord, and you got to forgive me, but it'll look something like that.
yeah,
But you can see it has like categories for everything, and it'll have like, for example, nutrition. There's stuff for business. They also have a meme section, which is needed. Um, but they'll have like, and then like Dave and all these other elite FTS people have like their uh, data logs and stuff on there. So there's a lot of information on there, and it's awesome.
did you see Jimmy Kolb
called yeah,
bench 1401?
Yeah, and if you've ever seen that man's forearms, it looks like cinder blocks.
yeah. Except they're shorter.
Yeah, I think I watched another video where he did like a reverse grip, but the bar was in between these two fingers, like the bar was sitting like this on his hand, and he benched 225 like 75 times or
Well, the
73
reason he had
times.
to do that is because like his sack was in the way and he could not rotate anymore. Because I'm going ahead and tell you, there's two things I fear in this world, and there be somebody who's puts 1,400 pounds in the palm of their hand, and that 120-pound woman in yonder. And I mean, and you know, I have nothing against geared lifting. I mean, matter of fact, I actually enjoy learning more about it because I mean, it's just a totally different side, and um, it don't matter what kind of shirt somebody's using or anything like that. I mean, that's still a lot of freaking weight.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was not only the biggest bench ever, but the
Yeah.
biggest lift ever. Like no one's, I don't think, ever squatted or dead, even in a squat suit squatted 1,400.
Yeah, I
he
think
is.
So that's pretty crazy.
the only lift that I can think of that was more than that, and it wasn't a powerlifting lift, was back in the day, World's Strongest Man, when they used to do the back squat or the back lift,
Yeah.
where they would get up under like the big boats or
Yeah.
whatever, and it'd be like 4,000 pounds or some
Right.
crap like that. But other than that, yeah, I think that was the heaviest lift that's ever been done and successful.
Because
Yeah, he's
wasn't the Shaw Classic last weekend?
Yes, it was. Brian Shaw went out on top, baby.
Yep.
Oh, I was
I-
pumped.
fun to watch.
I didn't get to watch any of it, but I saw him post like all the machines and stuff when they were building them. Those things look wicked.
Dude,
Like it looks
that
crazy.
hey, the Shaw Classic is going to be, it's going to take over. Like it's going to be bigger than World's Strongest Man before too long.
Yeah,
Because I mean,
everyone
ahead.
talked about it afterwards. Everyone talked about how clean it was run, how smooth it was done, all the stuff they did for the athletes, the fact that they have room for like media, and he has his own venue. It's his stuff, it's his equipment. So he's not really spending as much as like World's Strongest Man's going to.
Since he's been in the World's Strongest Man for what, 15 years,
14
something like
straight,
that.
14,
Yeah,
I think he's made
Like-
14 of them.
he knows what what the competitors want and what they don't want and how they want it ran. So he's doing it for the competitors, which I think is a great thing.
Oh, it ain't no doubt, because if you start doing it for the competitors, you're going to bring those competitors back, and you're going to bring back the fans that want to see those competitors. If you have an event like World's Strongest Man where you invite just 30 people and you send them through all these heats to get down to, you know, the final 10 or whatever it is, but every year you change up the criteria and it's different faces and all this kind of stuff. I mean, you lose a lot, which don't get me wrong. I mean, if you're like Shaw or like Big Z back in the day and stuff, like they're gonna make it because I mean, they have like dinosaur DNA and stuff. So, but like, I don't know. It's just like all these little stipulations and stuff that it, it ends up making it more of a headache for the competitors than just an enjoyable experience. And I think that's what Brian has done a fantastic job of, is making it all about the lifters and keeping them happy. And then if you have happy lifters that perform well, then your venue performs well.
On those same lines, when's your next competition? Do you have one planned?
Yes, it is October 28th. It will be in, it's up around Huntsville somewhere. It's not Huntsville, but it's one of those little towns up there. It's a USAPL meet.
Well, if you wanted to change your mind, December 8th, there's a meet in Atlanta that's a money meet, and all proceeds are going to the lifters. He's planning on having a grand prize for best overall male and female, and he wants to have a prize for like heaviest squat, heaviest deadlift, heaviest bench, in like every category. So, just a thought.
Well, that'd be awesome to come in last place and all that.
Yeah, okay. You could probably go back to back and still do it.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Who's putting it on?
So it's a new federation called 365 Strong.
I have heard of that. I have heard of that.
Eugene Bazemore is the chairman of Georgia. He's putting on that meet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds fun.
Not a bad idea.
Hey, if they would just say, like, hey guys, if you want to compete, we'll have a buffet here, like right over here next to the warm up room, I would be like, I would cancel every meet I have and I would immediately go there.
If they had servers that could bring it to you in the warm up room.
Oh God. All I need is a funnel. Just lay on my back and just.
He did say he was going to have an open bar, and he's lining up food for sure. Yeah,
oh, that's awesome.
Food, so
that's awesome. That is awesome. Good thing I've quit drinking, so I don't. The open bar ain't enticing, but the definitely the free food is enticing. Oh
try
man,
and throw your name in there. See
yeah. And December 8th is my birthday, so that'd be a lucky day.
What an interesting time that might be.
That would be. Like
Georgia.
I wear one of those singlets that has like the pug face on it, so everybody knew I meant business.
Yeah. I mean, I think if anyone sees you walk into a room, they know you mean business. But yeah, what kind of business depends on the room.
It was funny. Any room. But when I done that powerlifting meet, my cousin was videoing one of my lifts, and there was this guy, like, you could see me getting videoed, but there was this guy like right in the edge of the video, and he sounded like Ernest T. Bass, and he turned around and told his buddy, and you could hear it on the video. He said, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that big fella was taking some juice.
Mississippi.
Hey, it was fantastic. But
that was over at Rev Fit, right? Revolution Fitness.
He actually had it at it wasn't at Rev Fitness, but he has another, it's more like a training facility. Like, it has a big turf area. It has batting cages. It does have weightlifting stuff, but I think it's geared more towards like athletics, like high school, college athletics. But it was a fantastic facility. Like, it was freaking awesome. but I can't remember the name of it. But it was not. We weighed in and done everything at Rev Fitness, but then we went over to that the next day. It was probably like 5 minutes down the road.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh, dude, it was sweet. Like, and that's what Sam told me. He's like, you don't get used to this because not all these meets are run like this. And I was like, oh, well, that sucks.
Yeah, that's very true. Even like
12
in
hour?
Tuscaloosa, like Charlie runs really good
12-hour
meets
meet?
in Alabama, but yeah, the state championships was 12 hours long.
It was just the first day.
Man, look,
Just the first day. The second day, it flew.
Yeah.
Need a few meals in there, maybe a couple of naps.
like bring out an emergency Pop-Tart in a tent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping that whenever I do this meet, that I can qualify for nationals because I would like to go compete in it. And I don't know because that also USAPL is the one that does the Arnold Classic because that would be awesome.
That would be
That
cool.
is a really cool meet. Invite
So-
You
only.
got XPC
I know
too.
that's
XPC does the Arnold. Does the Arnold too.
That's not the same category.
so I'm either gonna try. I would love to do the Arnold or something like that if I got fortunate enough to do that, or either that or I was gonna enter the men's physique because when you look at me and my Saint Bernard jowls, you automatically think chiseled.
Yeah, I mean, you're only 270 weeks out from your first show, I imagine.
Yeah, something like that.
I've been telling everybody.
I'm like,
I've been telling everybody at the gym. I'm like hopping on prep, and I'm like getting on stage in a couple weeks, man. They just don't know. They don't know.
hey, you gotta stay stage ready at
That's
all
what I'm
times
saying.
because you never know who's gonna
That's what I'm
challenge
saying.
you.
That's what I keep telling them. They all keep doubting me.
And like every time I even think about lifting weights, I always have that little mankini that they wear in bodybuilding on under all my stuff. That way, if we need to go there,
That's
it's
your legless
ready.
underwear for the meets. That's what you wear under your thing, but yeah, for
Exactly.
sure.
Exactly. I mean, what better place to win Best Lifter and Miss Congeniality all in one thing?
That'd be pretty incredible, but I mean, I don't know. What name would you enter under? That's a good question, I guess.
Do what?
What name would you enter under? Like, you're going to do, if you were going for your women's physique title at the Arnold Classic.
So, see, and y'all are gonna think I'm lying, but when I was in high school, there was a lot of guys that I played football and baseball with whose moms and grandmothers and stuff had breast cancer, and so we would do like fundraisers and stuff for like to donate to the breast cancer charities and stuff. And one of the things that we done was a cutie walk, and you're looking at 2009 Queen right here. And what was awful, which I mean, don't get me wrong, all the judges was some of our buddies' moms that were either currently diagnosed with it or had just beaten it or they were in the early stages. So we had three judges, and a lot of these guys are like, oh my God, this is going to be so embarrassing. I'm like, man, we're doing this for a good cause, and just have fun. So I went out there, and the first thing I done was backed it up and dumped it right there on the judges' table, and and I'm like pulling, doing whatever. We ended up raising like $6,800 for the breast cancer thing, and what the awful part about it was we played a football game that night, and so we ended up beating. I forgot what team we played, but it was funny because the guys on the other team was giving some of us because we were getting down like at the line of scrimmage, and some of them still had like fingernail polish. And anyway, they put up my picture of the cutie walk thing, and then they put up my picture of me running the football, and it said Queen wins twice in one night, and I was like, oh, this is great.
Oh, that's nice.
But you know,
Running the
it's
football.
exactly. Um, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, you know, like I said, it went for a good cause. So, and it was people we knew personally, so it made it even better that we could do that for them.
Yeah, I believe we had cutie walks when I was in school as well. I don't know if they do anymore. I don't know if they're allowed to anymore.
Yeah,
Probably not PC.
this day and age,
Probably not PC enough.
yeah, everybody this day and age takes stuff way too serious, and they want to jump on everybody's case, and you know, you can't joke around, you can't have fun because everybody's so sensitive.
That's true. People
Yeah.
will get hurt.
I was trying to, I was trying to dig up I've got some old, I was in a cutie walk back in, it's probably like
22.
2007.
I just casually do them on the side. I
God,
think
it
it's
was a
called
long-
drag.
Yeah, yeah. Carson actually does them every weekend in downtown Tuscaloosa. It's kind of crazy. It's all
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's how I make that's how I afford my,
You go to
pre-workout.
Icon.
Yeah, let it all
Hey,
hang out,
look.
brother.
We was working trouble in downtown Tuscaloosa one night. We had some secondary wire burn up, and we were like in the vaults and stuff, like pretty much in the sidewalk right there by
yeah,
what's that, Half Shell Oyster House,
yeah.
and all you hear down in that vault is and like we come up out of this like 10-foot vault, and there's people lined up down the thing, and there's a big banner that says Harry Styles Night, and I'm like, what in God's name is this? And anyway, there was these people come walking by, and one of our guys was like, what is going on? And it was and they were like, oh, it's Harry Styles Night at Icon, and I was like, oh God. And they were like blocking the street, cops were flagging traffic, and I was like, I had no idea like this was right there.
Yep. It's like
Yeah. So this was circa 2009.
that's a cutie
Smash.
right
With the green hair.
Yeah, smash.
there. Speaking of Icon,
Oh man. Yeah, that's good. It's good stuff. Well, I feel better now that y'all actually know what I'm talking about, and they're not just like, oh, freaking guy sitting there, it's like wearing a dress.
oh dude, oh, Josh was probably in the cutie
Yeah, in
walk
middle
too.
school I was. I have no pictures of that, but
Yeah, see,
it is what it is. They're probably somewhere, but I don't have them on
Hey,
my
it's
phone.
all,
just like that.
Do not have them on my phone.
Josh, call your mother.
No. I don't make her do all that. She go, look how cute you look. Look how cute you look. She'll make fun of me.
But yeah, I think it is kind of sad, you know, this day and age. Like you can get online and promote all that stuff, and like the whole icon thing. Which I mean, to each their own. But you can get on there and promote that. But God forbid you get on there and put something about Christianity or anything like that, and then everybody wants to cut your throat.
Yeah, it definitely depends on where you're at too.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Less likely to get injured in Alabama if you say something, but
Oh yeah.
California,
Ooh,
different story.
yeah.
Told you.
I don't want no part of that out there.
Told you next meet.
I'm gonna say.
Told you.
Did you say next
The
meet?
next meet. 140 plus women. That's what I'm signing up for. I'm gonna walk up to Charlie and weigh in and saying, "Oh yes, Charlie, I signed up for women 140. Yes, that's what I'm competing at," and see what he says.
And say, by the way, what are you doing on Friday?
Yeah.
My wife just walked by and like looked at me like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah.
What's going on
Snatch you
here?
up.
Yeah. Look, she gets jealous because the bar of soap gets to rub all over my body, and she doesn't. You know how it goes.
Yeah, it definitely depends on where in prep you are.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, if you're using soap or not.
Hey, you got to have a ritual. If you're really wanting a big squat, you can't change anything if everything's going good. So baths are out of the question.
No baths, ostrich eggs,
Yeah. Hey,
and your
this is
chair.
this is what they truly mean by getting back to your roots before lifting. Like that's it. That's living. That's what our forefathers intended.
True caveman mentality.
Picked up,
Exactly.
picked up
And
big round thing.
it,
Feral.
and it blows my mind talking about caveman mentality. Like the stuff we take for granted, as far as like weightlifting and stuff goes, and then you see these videos of like, for example, I don't know if y'all know him, Iron Bibi, the strongman.
Hmm.
They're
Oh
over
yeah.
there like in an outside gym with like concrete weights and stuff, and it's like, my God, man, if there's a will, there's a way, because these guys will do whatever it takes. And you have
That's how
some,
I feel.
well,
In
you
my
have these.
Yeah.
go you go.
I was just saying, like, there's some people like walk in the gym, they're like, oh my God, I forgot my pre workout, like I can't lift. And these guys over here, it's like, oh, well, my spotter just got eaten by an anaconda. I'm only going to do 5 instead of 8.
I was gonna say that's how I feel at the gym I go to now. I sent you a picture of it, but like no AC. The AC is a fan, a box fan. That's all you get, and an open garage door.
Hey, and well, that's up until about, I'd say 6 months ago, maybe a little longer than that, 8 months now. I had it out here in the old metal building that I have beside my house, and it was one fan, and you were pretty much in an oven come summertime.
Yep.
And I was talking to Sam last night, and actually, I have some pictures on my phone where the first time he done my programming, he was like, "We're going to see what your work capacity is." So we was doing a lot of reps and band work. Like we were doing sets of 8x8 with 30-second rest in between, and like we were doing like minute rest on the big sets of stuff. Well, I remember he told me I got some silver bands and I put them on a trap bar deadlift. I had 405 plates on there, and he said, "Yeah, let's just put them silver bands on it because it'll be around 75 pounds of tension on both sides. So that'll be, roughly 555 somewhere in there." And I was like, "Okay, that ain't no big deal." Well, he didn't tell me that I needed to have them like where band pegs were going to go. So I had them like, I have a gigantic Dynabody rack, an old one, and I had it looped around like the front and very back. So I'm doing this, and after 3 sets, I am dying. Like I'm laying on the floor. My quads have a pump where I have veins that look like my thumb. And I'm like, dude, this is awful. And then like I get 8 weeks in, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting to where I can handle this a little better. Well, he said, get you one of those scales to where we can weigh them. I was like, okay. So I ordered a scale, and I said, let's see what the band tension is. I pulled it up. It was 175 pounds each side. And I'm like, dude, I've been doing like 700 and something pounds for like a 8x8. And dude,
God,
hey, I tell you this, I had some dang stamina. No,
that's
that's
impressive.
stupid. But man, I would be so toast. And anybody listening to this, if you work with bands or chains, please get a scale and measure before, because you will die.
Well, we see. We don't know what's strong. We just know the color. The red is easier, purple's a little harder, and then the greens are real hard. That's all I know. Don't know how much they weigh.
Hey, well, hey, that's how it was with me. And then until like I had lactic acidosis building up in my quads, and man, it was awful. And then like after we done that, like I said, on the 8th week, the last week of it is when I figured out I was doing too much. And then the next week we went into a little bit heavier weight and no bands, and I was like, oh my god, I feel like I could jog with this. Like, but it was, and then
That's fine.
but I mean I had good carryover from all of that um, foundation work, but my body responds so much better to the like singles or maybe like the doubles or something like that. It just, I don't know. That's, I'm built for that short burst of energy and park it.
You tend to see that with the bigger guys, like bigger people in general.
Well, a matter of fact, who put us on that was Sam was talking to Dan Bell at Elite, and he was like, "Hey, I got this guy. Um, he's a bigger guy. Kind of gave him a rundown of like my stats and stuff. And it was like, hey, this is what we've been doing. What are your recommendations?" And he's like, "Dude, you need to cut the reps." He's like, "You need to do like singles." He's like, "All my work, I do like heavy top set singles or like doubles or something." And he goes, the reps does not have carryover like just a bunch of singles does. And it was shortly after that we kind of restructured a lot to that, and um, I've had fantastic response from it.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have. Go
Do you
ahead.
feel like your do you feel like your do you feel like your recovery is better? Just
Yes,
recovery
I
in
feel like my
general.
recovery's a lot better. Like I'm still sore, but it's not like that 3 or 4 days. Like, oh, I have to fall down onto the toilet.
Yeah.
It's like um, I feel like I can recover from it a lot better, and I can do which I do ice baths. I actually have a deep freeze that I sealed up, and so every day after a session, I get in there for 15 minutes, and between that and the singles and me upping my hydration and carbs, that has probably been the three biggest things far as outside of actually weight lifted that has helped me the most.
Just imagining you getting to a deep freezer. It's pretty fun.
Hang on, I got a picture. Because my wife bet me I wouldn't fit.
Uh,
Do you have how many cubic feet are you working with? On
I
that
think
deep
it's a
freeze?
15, and it's all it wants.
Do you know?
I wanted the bigger one, but this one was on sale.
Uh,
Let's
smart,
see,
cost
where did it go?
effective.
It is,
Just get
and
skinny.
well, so you do that, and it's gonna sound so stupid, but you have to buy an aquarium pump to circulate the water inside of it, or you'll have like 40-degree bottom and 60-degree
algae.
top, which I found out. Uh, there you go.
That is surprising, to say the least.
I think, yeah,
There you go.
and that's as far as I can go. So,
You're gonna
like,
have to get yourself.
do I?
You're gonna have to get yourself like a walk-in cooler from a restaurant. You know,
Oh, dude,
just
that'd be
freeze that bad
dope.
boy up.
That would be dope.
Have
Well,
your own
what I'm
cryo
thinking,
chamber.
what I'm thinking about doing is putting a motor-operated chain hoist right above it, so I can
Like
just,
an engine puller. Just
so I
put
can,
it like
yeah, I can get me an A-frame and roll it over there, and what I'm gonna do is sit down in one of those like oh shoot, what are them things called? Like them basket harnesses, and I'm just gonna let it lower me down in there.
Yeah, like when they rescue animals with,
Yeah, like when you
like at
see
the
like on
flood.
this, yeah, like when they're pulling cows out of like Niagara Falls, it's gonna be that
Yeah,
same
yeah.
thing.
Be like putting a turkey down into a
Yeah,
fryer on Thanksgiving.
yeah.
Except
Hey, I'll tell you this: I've got it set at 40. I think 45 degrees, and that first time you get in it, you're doing that. You're going because your breath is gone. But and it was funny because I was sitting in there, and after about 3 minutes, you're numb basically, and I have that aquarium pump in there. It's just a little fan. It's probably about that big, about like a little Nerf football, and it magnetizes to the side of the thing, and it just circulates it towards the bottom and around. Well, I'm sitting there and like my man parts are like freezing, and I'm like, they're not getting any better. Like they feel like it's not going numb. It's like worse and worse and worse. And I'm like, dude, this is bad. Like my wife's sitting there talking to me, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. That freaking little fan had fell off the side and was sitting like right up under my taint, and it was just blasting me with just freaking 40-degree water. And I was like, well, I don't think we can have kids anymore. So
I hear that's good for. There's people that are like icing their testicles now. They say it helps boost testosterone. People say it's weird stuff now with testicles. People say ice your testicles
sun your
3
butthole.
times a day. People say sun
Sunning.
your balls, and it's supposed to help like
Eat
boost
hey,
your testosterone.
well, see,
or
why
whatever.
do they? Hey, why do they
Yeah, eat 'em.
like when the people get their butthole bleached? Why do they call it that and not changing your ringtone?
Not changing your ring.
I don't know. Maybe you've got a good business idea there.
That's pretty good.
That is, it's gonna be Alabama's Matt ringtones. Well, I mean, they have like different colors for everything now. It's like, who wants teal? Who wants
Yeah.
jasmine?
Jasmine. That'd make for an interesting experience.
It would be. Look, hey, these are $1 million ideas, and we're writing them down. Look, I'm looking at
Somebody
4.
out there might.
Hey, I'm looking at 4 shareholders right here.
Hey,
Hey, Josh, you are going to be our tester,
I'm
okay?
good. I ain't gonna change my ringtone. I'm good.
Yeah. Because you look like the guy off of the other guys. I know what you're thinking because I have this beard, but it's shaved. Yeah.
dolphin smooth, brother.
Oh
He's getting
man,
ready for the
Yeah, I
bodybuilding
got
show.
to.
What do you mean?
he is. He
Hide the
is.
jawline.
I mean, and
It's
that's
hiding
on
the
the.
jawline. That's what it's doing. It's hiding that crispy jawline.
That's one of the. That's going to be one of the judging criteria is the ringtone on the bodybuild stage.
Yeah. He's got long
Yeah.
hair, like
Yeah.
on his
He's got
head,
it
so
up.
he's gonna have
Yeah.
to do the women's
That-
pose.
Could you say like, oh yeah, he's got really good color. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, let's knock him down
Let's knock him down a half point because you can see there that's artificial. No, that's artificial.
It doesn't quite match the tan.
Yeah, like I don't know why you're getting so embarrassed. These are great
It's
ideas.
hilarious. I love it. It's funny. It's like all the girls that get on Instagram and like bend over. Oh yeah, let me show you my hamstring pump I got today.
Yeah. No, and it's like not to mention that 4-foot moose knuckle you got right there. And that's I just recently created an Instagram, or I got my wife to create me an Instagram because I know nothing about it, and that way, like if I've done anything with Sam or with Elite or with y'all can collaborate, tag, whatever. I don't know what all that stuff is. I'm trying to learn, and she was like, that's all you want the Instagram for is just to look at all these women. And I'm like, baby, I've got you and our 3 daughters. There's enough estrogen in this house for everybody. We're good. We're good.
I found
good.
it. I found your Instagram, Matt. Alabama
Yeah,
underscore
hey,
Matt.
Hard.
double
Yeah, double
underscore.
underscore Matt.
Yeah, because there's already a freaking Alabama Matt with 1 underscore. I'm like, who has that?
We're gonna have to get that removed.
I'm gonna have to find him and I'm gonna have to fight him.
Yeah.
There can only be one. I heard that somewhere.
And that's what I actually done a podcast with Sam the other day, and he was talking about, because on the Discord there's there's a guy on there whose name was World's Strongest Matt, and I was like, I beg, we're going to have to prove it. You may be bigger than me, you may be prettier than me, but we're going to have to figure out this strong thing.
World's hungriest Matt. Maybe
He don't stand a chance. He don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He don't stand a chance. Because I'm actually whenever I get back to doing those plus size powerlifting pro tips, actually I was going to call out Dan Bell and tell him that he may be bigger than me, he may be stronger than me, but he will not beat me at a China buffet.
That would make for some good content. I would love to see that.
Hey, I'll tell him right now. I mean, I will OD on those freaking crab rangoons before I quit eating.
OD on crab rangoons.
I was watching a podcast the other day with Pete Rubish, and he was kind of talking about the old days back when he used to powerlift, and he was talking about a meet he did with the Lulu.
I think it was the Backyard
Brothers.
Pro or something like that.
And yeah, that was a crazy
Yes.
meet, by the way. That was back when like powerlifting, there wasn't Instagram. People weren't lifting just for like views or to put their stuff out there. People just love lifting heavy weight. It was like Dan Green, the Lillibridge brothers, Pete Rubish. But anyway, he was talking about they had gone to a buffet before, and so they sat down to eat. So they eat like a massive amount, and he's like getting up to go, and they just sit there, and he's like, what are they doing? And then they wait like 45 minutes and do it all over again. And he said they were there for like 3.5 hours, and by the time they're done, they're like 13 plates in, and then he's
Hey,
he's just like in
I'm
agony.
the exact same way. Like when we go to like CC's Pizza or something, I'll go up there and like mound it over and eat like 2 or 3 plates, and then like my wife and kids ain't even got halfway done with their first plate, and I'll just sit there, and it's like let everything settle, like wash it down with some tea or something, and then it's like, okay, yeah, I'm ready for another plate, and then you go up there and get another plate, and the cycle continues.
What's your favorite dessert pizza at CC's? Is it the cinnamon rolls or is it the apple?
Them cinnamon rolls are busted.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, like I literally one time, my 2 favorite things there are the cinnamon rolls and the barbecue pizza. So there was this one guy that used to work in there. Every time I come in, he immediately went over there and put in a whole barbecue pizza for me. And he would like, when I was done, he would like, and he would let me know like, hey, it's done, come get it. And he would like basically slide the whole pizza on a plate for me. And he would do the same thing with the cinnamon rolls. He would just be like, hey, got a fresh batch, buddy? Like, I'd just load it down. like a kid would reach up, like, I want one, I'd sock him, like, get away from my cinnamon roll. But it's between that and when I go to like Baumhauer's or somewhere and eat in town, we went a lot, and they would always just leave me a pitcher because whenever I drank something, I would literally drink like 9 or 10 glasses of whatever I drank. And so they would bring me a pitcher and just put one of those long straws in the pitcher, and I would drink like 1 or 2 pitchers by the time I leave. Dude, I drink so much.
This is the true super heavyweight
That
episode.
made me think of this.
That's what this is.
Yeah, how many Krispy Kreme donuts do you think you could eat in one sitting?
Yes. Dude, I don't know, because
I've done 24 and it was pretty miserable by the 24th. Like I was in like sugar comatose pain.
Like your jaw hurt?
like I could probably well, that wasn't from the Krispy Kreme, that was from something else. But the I don't know how many I could eat, honestly. And matter of fact, like, I'm probably gonna go tomorrow and see how many I can now. And it would be a lot, because I know I've ate 12 of those cream filled ones and like on the drive home. So I honestly don't know. I put it this way. Go ahead.
It's like, well, I was just gonna say that just the original glaze, you can kind of squish them down into just like a little ball, so you can just like it's like, stomach's just like a garbage compactor.
Look, there is.
Them down and eat them like that.
Look, if you take a flashlight and shine down my throat, it's rifled. So, like, I can put away some stuff like big time. And I'm trying to think of like the most things I've ever eaten, because I know I went to the beach one time and they had all you could eat jumbo fried shrimp, or not jumbo, the regular, not popcorn, but the regular.
Yeah.
And I ate like 9.5 dozen with like an order of fries, hush puppies, and everything like that. And then when I go to Taco Casa, well, y'all know Taco Casa. What I typically order is 4 enchiladas and 10 soft tacos. Like, that's
And
my
sweet tea, right?
standard
And
order.
Sweet tea, right?
Light work.
Yeah, large sweet tea, gotta have it.
Gotta have it. You need to
But the most I've ever eaten at Taco Casa, it was 14 soft tacos, 5 enchiladas, a bag of sopapillas, and something else. It was like 40 something dollars. And I was standing there and I ordered all of this, and this lady was standing there. It was me and my wife, and I ordered all this, and I stepped aside. I said, "What do you want, baby?" And she goes, "That was for all of this for you." But yeah,
that makes my
we have a pretty high grocery bill.
Yeah. I've been watching on YouTube this guy, Beard Meets Food. He's a small guy.
Is that the British
he's like
dude?
5'6",
Yeah,
he's like 5'6", 150-ish, and he's like going to these restaurants and doing all their food challenges. But that's what that makes me think of, because he always eats like 5 pounds of cheeseburger and then orders off the dessert menu right after.
Yeah,
you gotta have you.
and
There's always room.
I completely understand
You
that.
gotta have you something sweet after a good meal. It's like
There's always room for dessert.
Like, I want to go to a meet in Texas so bad, where I can get like one of them 72-ounce steaks or something, because I want to absolutely murder that thing. And well, I'll tell you this, Diamond Gyms.
yeah, down in Livingston.
They have that gigantic ribeye. I ate 2 of them.
Jesus Christ.
King cut ribeye.
Jeez.
Dang,
Yeah,
those are 32-ounce
I ate
ribeyes.
2 of them and then an order of fries and whatever else.
Dang, that's 2 pounds of 2 pounds of beef. So you ate 4 pounds of steak and
I
those things are huge.
I didn't go to the bathroom right for like a week,
Jesus Christ.
but it was so worth it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, what's a week to a 2-hour dinner?
Man, it was awesome. Like, and that's what I look, because like my dad, obviously, I mean, he was a big guy. My brother's a big guy. Matter of fact, far as height, I'm probably one of the shorter ones in my family. Most of my cousins and uncles are like 6'3", 6'4", even some of them 6'5", and just big guys. And like when we sit down to eat, like sometimes we would have National Geographic looking through the window because it was like a feeding. And because my wife didn't understand, because she'd always, like when we were dating, she'd go eat with me, and I would try to be like on good behavior. I would still eat a lot, but I would like do it nice, like with forks and stuff. But
Not like a
but
Neanderthal.
like yeah, hey, look, when she come to the first breakfast that my parents they cooked, like when me and her were dating, my mom sat down. I think it was 5 pans of biscuits. I'm talking about like big skillet pans, and me, my brother, and my dad all took 1 pan apiece, and and then like the other 2 pans was like for everybody else that was there, and we'll cook like several pounds of bacon and sausage and ham, and it looks like, if you think about a carcass that you see in the desert, like there's just bones, and so that's what it looks like when we get through.
And she was horrified.
Yeah, like she's like, I just don't understand how people eat like that, and I'm like, well, if you don't eat like this, you don't get any food.
That's very
But
fair.
yeah, it's so I definitely have the background for some powerlifting, super heavyweight, and that's one thing that's fantastic because it's kind of like with all this other stuff, that plus is inclusive. So it's it's above 308 and beyond. Like there's no
308.1 and
limit.
beyond.
Yes, yes, and that's what I tell everybody. They're like, How do I get stronger? I'm like, eat and just work out, and whatever you think you're eating, like, hey, I'm eating enough, double it, and then you'll be good.
Only doubling. That seems doable.
Hey, gotta pay to play, baby. And I'm sitting here talking like I'm some kind of powerlifting veteran. I've done one meet.
Yeah, but you're still stronger than probably 90% of open powerlifting.
99%.
More.
I'm trying. Look, I'm trying to catch up to y'all.
Oh,
Okay,
here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Josh, I've done told you, if I ever get to be half of what you are, I'll be double
Yeah,
what I
just
already
walk in the
am.
gym and say, "Oh yeah, I'm about to squat like 700 something pounds a day." Casually do it, just like it's nothing. I barely squat 6.
What you got today?
Barely.
Seven doubles with
Just
750. That's all.
casual 750 doubles, casual.
Nothing
Casual.
crazy.
But just something, to really open up the hip flexors and stuff like that.
Oh, it would open my hip flexors for sure. Straight to my grave.
We've all seen
the
that
way.
OnlyFans account of yours. We know about your hip flexors.
Hey, I got nothing to hide on there.
Exactly.
I don't have to be strong.
That's why your middle name is Big. Oh, I love it. I love it. But
This is good. I think we can wrap it up there.
well,
That's
guys,
the first time Matt's ever heard about wrapping up, though. I mean,
yeah.
kids.
Hey, look, I tell you this, there's a guy that works for me. He's got like 7 kids. I mean, he couldn't pull out of a driveway. The man it's and we call him. His nickname was Blister, and he got that from when we were in climbing school. His legs stayed so tore up from the gaffs and stuff like that. But uh, somebody told him later, "No, you got a blister on that thing because God, y'all can't have y'all need like TV or something."
Oh, man.
Well, guys, I greatly appreciate y'all having me on. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
right.
yes, sir.
Oh, this is so much fun. Thank you for coming to do this.
Absolutely, man.
Yes, sir. It ain't no
Alabama
problem.
Matt.
Yes, thank you. So should I
It's been sitting
should
out
I
the whole
slam
time.
Yes.
the slam the
Sitting out
shake
the
and
whole
close us out?
I thought
I put it in the fridge because it was getting kind of warm, and I didn't want to vomit on air.
let me
grab it real
stood
quick.
up a while ago, he butt chugged it or something.
Just funnels the chicken shake.
have you ever seen that movie Cock Blockers or Blockers
Yeah.
with John Cena? Got that funnel. I thought that's what he was doing.
Well, this isn't going to be good, boys, because it's kind of all settled to the bottom. All the chicken. So it'll be nice and chunky. But, so anyway, I'll close this out. That was your Friday night at the barbell. We got some merch coming soon. Me and Bryant have the shirts on right here. You'll have to stay tuned to see what the back says. But anyway, everybody have a good night.
Oh, I hear it. I hear it.
Oh, he'd be good in prison opening that throat.
It's probably so chunky. Yeah, perfect for gains.